Hi everyone, and here is finally the tutorial on how to create your own Noir episodes using the Noir special actions and things, notably how to bribe with money and how to integrate money, but also how to intimidate, how to follow and break in. So to start with, obviously you're gonna select all the Noir stuff and the London category one. I would not pick it here to simplify my drop down, but you should pick it as well and create a new scenario. So let's see. We're gonna start with bribing. So to bribe someone, you need to create what I created was an action item called bribe, and you're gonna associate it with corruption. Okay. What we need now is a tool called money. And to create money in the app, you need to go to scenario settings, variables, and add a new variable that we're going to call money. And we're going to set that, let's say that we give $20 to all people at the beginning of the scenario. And then we go back to the scenario settings and we're gonna select money here and enable what's called a currency in the game. We need to specify a display, and it could be a dollar, and we want to show the actual value of the currency, and it's this. Basically, this will show $20 if the value is 20. I could write 0 USD, and it will be something. You get the idea that only this zero stuff is replaced with a number. So now that we have a currency and that we have a corruption item, I could create a new character. Let's say Bob. Bob will be character 6, like a beautiful Bob. And so let's say that when we meet Bob and that we want to bribe him, there's a couple of things here to make sure this works. First, you need to click this check variable to ensure that money, and let's say that in this case, it takes you $5 to bribe this person. So you would say greater than or equal to 5. So basically you want to make sure that the player has at least $5 in order to do this action. And if it's the case, then you need to add variable entry money, decrement, and value 5. This way, what will happen is that basically money minus equal 5 will make sure that after this action is done and that you say, hey, once you show some dollars to Bob, he decides to open up. So that is pretty much it. That's how things change. And for example, you could change the state of Bob and say that instead of state 1, it could be like a new state, which is a targeted Bob, and use this state to basically change completely the way he will answer question about object based on the fact that he was bribed or not. So that's corruption. The second type of item which we're gonna cover, and that's a little special, is shadowing. And shadowing, actually, that's the only one which we're actually gonna create a special character. So you're gonna take a new character that you actually gonna put this shadowing thing, we call it shadowing. And let's see how this works. So the trick with shadowing is that we need to have our own shadowing time. And that's why this is a character and not an item. So you need to go to the state of this character. And you need to say that it is an interrogation, but you need to say that it's an exit action. And you need to unclick this add game time one scan. Okay. Doing this will make sure that we don't add the 5 minutes and we add our own stuff, and also the fact that when we shadow someone, it will exit not an integration but an action. To add our own time, it's a little trick, and I'm going to show you today. It's very simple. You add an event and an item. So let's start with the item. So we're going to add an item called time. Let's call it shadowing time. Shadowing. this shadowing time needs to have two states, an on state and an off state. Okay, and in the event, here's how it's going to go. So this is shadowing event, and so here's how it looks like. Basically, if the state of shadowing time is becoming on, then the action is going to be to change game time and add 1 hour. Let's say if we decide that we want to do a 1 hour shadowing time, and then change the state back to off. So set object state, shadowing time to state, from state on to state off. And here we go. So basically, as soon as something turns it on, it adds 1 hour and turns it off immediately. That's just the event. Now that the item and the event exist, let's see how this works. Let's say that I want to shadow Bob. I go inside shadowing this time, and I'm going to go to Bob and say I want to shadow Bob, and you follow Bob for 1 hour and discover blah blah blah. What you need to do here is change the object state, add state change, and make sure that shadowing time from state off to new state on. Exactly. And so this, as soon as you do it, will trigger an event that will add 1 hour, this custom 1 hour time, or whatever time you want, but custom time, to the fact that you shadowed Bob. And that's just a trick used in the tool in order to do this. So we've seen corruption, we've seen shadowing. There is two more action items that we need to look at together. The first one is to break in, and the second one is intimidation. Both work exactly the same way. Basically, once you have those items set here, this is break in and intimidate, and now you can simply go to a character, item, and for example intimidate, and just do whatever you want. You said you can now properly in context say you want to intimidate him, and maybe this is not going to cut it with Bob. You know, Bob looks at you and shows you that he is not so easily scared of you. You know, do whatever you want here. Basically, that's how those states work. And for the break-in, it's the same, but for location, add location, and you simply go inside this location, and if someone uses this item, break in at that location, then say what happened, you know. And here, for example, you can use states. You know, you can check the state of an object to check if someone is supposed to be here or not, and wherefore you can break in or not, because obviously you don't want someone to be able to break in a house where there's someone inside. And that is it. That pretty much covers the 4 new action in Noir. We can't wait for you to take this home and, you know, create new Noir scenario for Chronicles of Crime. Thank you so much for watching, and we look forward to play your scenarios. Bye bye.